This week on Socratic Cinema.
Keep going.
Second fact, did you know that
Yes.
this movie has a post-credit scene?
And I don't remember if there was a post-credit scene, so
Well-
maybe no.
Gigi is a girl.
Oh,
I give you-
interesting.
I give you lesbian cat. You know, expectations are for the average man in the year of our Lord 2022. Do better.
Oh my
James,
god.
that's right.
Dun 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 dun.
Wow.
Dun, dun,
It's so
dun,
windy
dun,
up
dun,
here.
dun, dun,
On my
dun, dun,
broom that's definitely
dun,
not a
dun,
Nimbus 2000.
dun, dun,
You don't know how to
dun,
fly
dun,
this thing.
dun, 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 dun,
I really
dun,
hope I don't
dun,
get
dun, dun,
arrested.
boom, boom, boom.
I'm a cat
I'm
in
just
this
saying
skit.
random cat noises.
Meow.
All right. Cut the music. Cut the music.
Oh, sorry.
Cut the music.
Was it too much? I'm sorry.
No, that was perfect. That was perfect.
Okay, thank
It was a little much for me, actually.
I'm here to deliver you guys another episode of Socratic Cinema. I'm Kasey Clark.
I'm Charlie Heatherly.
And I'm James DeLisio.
And if you couldn't pick up on the little hints that I just dropped in our intro, we
Little
watched,
understated hints. Yeah.
understated hints. We watched Kiki's Delivery Service this week. Yay! Yes. And as always, we're going to start off with our initial thoughts. I'm going to kick it over to James.
Oh. All right.
I know, I'm switching it up.
Stepping up to bat, we got Hayao Miyazaki. I don't know, he was up against a crazy pitcher and bing, knocks it out of the park. Oh my gosh, it's a great day for baseball and for delivering packages. Kiki's Delivery Service is, how do I put this? Really good. Came out in 1989, right? This is the early Ghibli, whatever. But like let me, where do I start? Let me break it down for you. This is one that I put off watching for a long time. Boy, was I a fool for doing that, because this movie captures, I think, the best of Ghibli. I'm gonna keep doing that. It captures everything that makes Ghibli, I think, so special. It captures the blend of fantastical elements in a very grounded, real world and story, a la magical realism, the Latin American literary genre. You can check out my video essay for more on that. But I think this is like every Ghibli movie. Oh, it's a lovely little movie. Oh, no thoughts, just vibes. Oh, la la la. But I actually think this one has a lot to say. Like, I think this movie has a very, very strong emotional arc. I think it talks about a lot of very relatable and important things. I think there's a lot of different ways you could read it. But I think this is like a actually very kind of tender, touching story. Like we talked about how some ones like Totoro really don't have a plot. And I sort of stand by that, because I think
vibes.
It's not the point, right? But this movie, it has that sort of meandering, aimless feeling, but I think there's a very, very clear emotional arc underpinning it that is really strong, and I love it a lot. And Kiki is just such a great protagonist, very, likable and lovable, and you just latch onto her. But she also goes through a lot of struggles and like has character flaws and everything. And Gigi is adorable, and so is Tombo, and the lady who runs the bakery is an angel. And it's just great. And the score, like all of them, rules. There's no part of this movie that doesn't rule. So it's always and forever a 10 out of 10 for me.
Whoa.
Dang.
That's
This is probably, this is top 3 Ghibli for me.
Top 3.
When I first watched it, I was like, yeah, this is top 3. And when I watched it again for this podcast, I was like, I stand,
Yep.
yeah.
I standing 10 toes down. Love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. All right, Charlie.
Yeah, I really, really loved Kiki's Delivery Service. And viewer, let me ask you a question. Are you at all stressed in your life right now? Do you have a test coming up? Do you need to
Let
do
'em
something
know.
that you don't want to know or that you don't want to do? Well, do I have the cure for you?
What
No,
is it?
it's not alcohol. I know that you were thinking that. Don't drink your
Oh,
problems
man.
away. The real cure is Kiki's delivery service and probably like a warm loaf of bread to watch this movie with. Nothing is more relaxing than sitting down at like 9 p.m. when it's dark outside. You turn down the lights and then you put on a Studio Ghibli film, specifically Kiki's Delivery Service, and you see the colors of the TV dance in front of you. You get the whimsy and the magic of Kiki and her fun little broom adventures, and there's bread and a cat involved. And it's just so fun and family friendly, but also it really connected to me as someone that is definitely not the same age as Kiki. Like, I'm at a different stage in my life than Kiki. She's much younger. I think they said she's like, what, 13 in the movie or something like that? Yeah. So they say that Kiki's 13 in the movie. I am older than that. I will not reveal my specific age unless you pay me to. And right now I am going through a little bit of a college transition right now. So I'm going back into college, but I feel a lot of the same things that Kiki does. And to that, I feel like this movie really hits the universality of a lot of Ghibli's messages. And it really reminds me that Ghibli is really, really good at touching on core parts of the human experience, like moments of transition. I think like having a big moment of transition is the big thing within Kiki's Delivery Service. Obviously, it's like sort of a coming of age story, where
definitely, yeah, a coming of age story.
Yeah, it's Kiki learning to find her passion within life and find love within her work, or at least that's one theory. I think we'll talk about some theories in the future, but it does that very, very well, and you get to see her zest for life and her general whimsy in all the famous Studio Ghibli ways that you would want and love. So this is a great movie. Absolutely go watch it. I think it's probably either top 3 or 4 Ghibli for me, after Totoro, Princess Mononoke obviously being first, Totoro being second, and maybe I slot Spirited Away in above it, but I don't really know. I think it's a very good movie. I would give it not a 10 out of 10, but probably a 9 out of 10. Absolutely go see it if you just want to relax.
Nice. Solid. I echo all of your guys' points. I think it's a really, really good movie. I couldn't find, like most Ghibli movies, can't really find something to complain about, really. I would definitely give it a 8.5. It was enjoyable, but it's definitely not my favorite.
The Kiki Kasey classic.
The Kiki Kasey classic.
Yeah, the Kasey
Classic.
classic. I'm glad. I feel like I'm solidly out of my hater era now, guys. Like these are
good.
It's racking in. It's racking in. I don't know. Tell us in the comments which era you prefer.
No, this is the calm before the storm.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna get angry and belligerent for like 6 episodes. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fine. But yeah, overall, you hit all the Miyazaki checklist. You got a amazing score, amazing animation, very, very pretty, awesome storyline. I really liked Kiki as a protagonist as well. Tintin, I mean Tombo. I mean
Captain, it's Wednesday.
Captain, it's Wednesday. Yeah, I feel like their dynamic was pretty funny and interesting. Love the baker. Osono, I believe her name was.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, 10 out of 10. Love. And I don't know, I just like, you need a movie with solid vibes. And I understand what you guys were saying, where it still has like the meandering feeling, but it had a solid plot. And I really, really appreciated that. So 8.5, a classic, solid movie. Definitely going to look forward to the rewatchability.
I got to start off our discussion. I got a round of Kiki's Delivery Service fun facts, little trivia round.
Ooh, trivia.
All right. Some fun facts.
All right,
Are they fun though?
I think they're pretty fun.
Okay.
Trivia round number 1. Did you know that in the English dub of Kiki's Delivery Service, Kiki is portrayed
Kirsten Dunst.
by Kirsten Dunst?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that one
Stupid James.
we knew that one. I'm easing into it. I'm easing into it.
James. Okay, go on.
This isn't
go
fun.
on.
All right.
But keep going.
Second fact. Did you know that
Yes.
this movie has a post-credit scene?
Oh.
I watched through the credits and I don't remember if there was a post-credit scene, so maybe no.
According to IMDb, because I didn't watch the credits, but according to IMDb,
What if you're lying?
the credits of the film plays out, ending with Kiki's parents reading a letter from her after the credits finish.
Oh, yes.
Now look at that.
See this.
MCU. Kiki's delivery service walked so that the MCU could run.
Okay.
And stumble and
Kiki's
fall.
delivery service is the blueprint.
It is. Third fun fact piece of trivia. Did you know that there is a reference to Kiki's delivery service in the video game franchise Borderlands?
What?
No.
Yeah, there's a shot. There's a gun. There's a gun in the Borderlands games.
There's a gun
called Deliverance, and it's like a legendary item. And the flavor text on the Deliverance is Kiki's got a shotgun, and I think
blasphemous.
I just think
that's hilarious. That's very
fun.
neat.
And there's another fun fact that I'm trying to get the information on right, so I'm going to be like researching in the background because if it is what I think it is, it's kind of crazy. But let's start. Where do we start? Because I mean, I think we should start with. I don't want every Ghibli episode. Well, first of all, in case you don't know, we do it. This is the Socratic Ghiblinity saga, where we're tracking down the Ghibli movies scattered across all corners of the earth. We started with Spirited Away, then we did Totoro, Princess Mononoke. We've done Howl's Moving Castle. Most recently, we did Ponyo, Ponyo, Fishy, Fishy in the Sea.
Ponyo, Fishy, Fishy.
I saw a tweet where someone was like, "I hate Ponyo," and someone just retweeted it and quote tweeted it and was like, "Really, Ponyo, Fishy, Fishy in the Sea."
For real.
True.
And you love Nemo, huh?
Yeah. Listen, if you like Nemo but you don't like Ponyo,
reevaluate yourself.
The math ain't mathin'. I'm once again plugging my Ponyo video essay. Please go check it out. It's the last one I did. It's the last one I'll ever do. Go watch it. No, I want to start. I mean, I feel like every episode we're just going to be like, oh, the score is great. Oh, the I love the vibes. Oh, I love the aesthetic. Oh, I love, the
James
Ghibli
just
girls.
came for all of my
we're the Ghibli girls.
And what's wrong with having an easy episode?
We do, listen, real Socratic cinema moment. How it usually goes is, hey, has anyone seen any good movies recently? You want to do a Ghibli? Okay. And it's like it always hits the spot, though. That's not a bad thing.
No, this is true. There's some steps missing in there, though. We say, hey, guys, this really cool action movie came out. Who wants to see it?
Okay. And then I say, oh, which one? Oh, yeah, Prey. Let's watch it. Great.
Oh, Bullet Train? Oh, I hate fun, though. Can't be doing that.
I hate fun.
Listen.
Fun. I love fun, viewer.
One of my coworkers said to me that he was like, Bullet Train's a 10 out of 10. And this guy's like he's like a film guy, right? So I say, so I go, oh, so I go, really? Bullet Train? It's like The Godfather? And he says, in its own way, yeah. And I did a flip. And I did a flip when he said that. But I had somewhere I was going at the start of this. No, but I think I would have rather watched Kiki's Delivery Service than Bullet Train.
You would, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not I'm cooperating.
You would. A guy like me wouldn't let that slide personally.
A guy like me personally, I wouldn't let that slide.
We could have watched Orphan 2 Orphaner.
Wait, her parents are even deader this time.
Orphaner was an option.
We could have watched Orphan 2 Orphaner.
Wait, is there really a movie called Orphan 2?
It's the it's the prequel. Kill. Yeah, to Orphan.
What is Orphan?
Oh, bro!
You don't know about Miss Esther?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Let him know, James.
Charlie, how do I know about this and you don't?
I don't know.
So surprising.
Caught you lacking. Caught you slipping.
Me lacking?
Charlie Heatherly lacking.
I have come unprepared as I have for the past 80 episodes. They finally got me.
On August 23rd, 2023, Charlie Heatherly was caught lacking. But listen, I want to say, like, I feel like we should speed run the points that we always talk about. Score was great.
Yep.
Town with an ocean view on my study playlist, always a banger.
Yep.
Animation was great, of course. One thing that jumped out to me this time is I love the way they animate Kiki flying on her little broom.
Yes.
I love how like erratic it is, how chaotic, and it's like a force of nature, you know?
Yes.
Very kinetic.
Something I appreciated
yeah.
about the flying. Have you guys ever seen Nausicaa Valley of the Wind?
Yeah, hell yeah, brother.
So I've seen the
No.
first half of Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. And one thing that I really liked the movie, I fell asleep during the second half. It was 1 a.m. You have to forgive me. But one thing that actually really off-put me, this is being very serious, is the amount of upskirt shots within the movie. It is like incredibly
She's
off-putting.
wearing leggings, isn't she?
Yeah, but
She's
like
wearing
even
pantaloons.
Oh wait, are you talking in Nausicaa or
in Nausicaa?
Oh, okay.
That was disturbing. And I was like, Ghibli's got a weird sort of thing going on with this. So I was happy that they cut down on that in Kiki's delivery service.
And gave her big pantaloons.
Yes, it gave her big fun pantaloons. Because
Love
wow,
pantaloons.
they did not do that in Nausicaa.
Well, I read some quote about how like, I don't know, something about like the way animating a dress works with like wind. It was I don't remember, but it was something to do. It was about Kiki's delivery service. No, and they were like, and that's why we gave her big pantaloons so that we could like have fun and do all these fun shots where the dress is like all billowing and flying around without it being like weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
So they learned from their mistake, which is good to see. But the cloth animation on the dress is like truly incredible. I don't know how you hand animate that.
Amazing.
Yeah, honestly. I do want to do we gotta hit Nausicaa eventually because that one's fun to talk about. Also because it's like a lot like Dune.
It's like if Dune and Hollow Knight had a baby.
Yeah, very Dune core Hollow Knight pilled.
That statement hurt me.
Yeah, I wanted to give you a little bit of the shivers with that one. But what struck me about Kiki's delivery service most when I watched it was the subject matter. And I shouldn't subject matter. That's too, it's about a witch. No, that's not, is the sort of things it was talking about. I feel like at its core, and there's a lot of different, you could phrase it in a lot of different ways, and I think each one gives its own little angle. But I think at its core, this is a movie about being depressed. I think this is a movie about what it's like being a depressed person. At least
work a lap. Yeah.
I feel like Kiki is the whole movie. I said it as a joke in a group chat. I was like, gosh, this whole movie is just, could a depressed person do this? I like Kiki.
You're
Kiki,
so right.
There are so many scenes where Kiki like she just gives these looks, like she has that 1,000-yard stare. I think I made a joke about it in the Cha-Cha Real Smooth episode where I was like 13 is the first age where you encounter the deep sad.
Yeah.
My theory stands. She's just so sad. And things that once gave her such like joy and passion, like flying, become, they lose their spark. There's the whole classic, like, oh, her magic goes away, right? Spider-Man loses his powers. Oh, that always reflects the mental state. And there's one quote, I'm probably going to butcher it roughly, but essentially she's just hung out with Tombo and she like suddenly like something flips and she's just not having a good time and she is like, I'm going home. And she says something along the lines of like, she says, I think something's wrong with me. I make new friends and suddenly I can't stand to be around them. And I was like, ooh.
Right to the chest. That definitely made my chest hurt.
To me, this movie is about the struggle to like form connections and like let yourself like form relationships with other people and the struggle of keeping your passions while simultaneously turning them into work and dealing with burnout. and it's about all of these things, and I think it all really wraps up in like, this is a movie about like what it's like to be depressed and getting over that. And I think it offers a very sincere depiction of the problem, and then it offers a very sincere solution. Like, I think the way Kiki goes about recovering from her funk is very good. I think it's really good, and I would love to talk about it more, but I guess I want to open it up. The Socratic is in the name. I want to open it up to you. What was your reading of this movie? Did you see that like at all, or is this like a viewpoint you had not considered, or what was Kiki's Delivery Service about to you?
Charlie, do you want to take it first,
Sure.
or do you want me? Okay, yeah, you go.
I mean, I got an answer.
Go, girl.
I'm gonna go, comma, space, girl. But yeah, my reading of Kiki's Delivery Service, I didn't actually see it as a story about depression, but that might say more about the way that I view my own emotions more than it does what the movie's trying to say. And let me explain. To me, and I sort of hinted at this in my intro, Kiki's Delivery Service is like the perfect movie to describe what I felt like going into college. Where I knew absolutely nobody. This was the first time that I had moved away from my family, the first time that I was by myself, and I had to form every single social connection that I possibly could, because there was literally like no one. Like, I had to start from scratch, and I hadn't done that since like, I think probably middle school. And even then I sort of knew some people. I went from a public elementary school to a private middle school, so I went through a different system. But it perfectly encapsulates, like, to me, this feeling of like, I think of that friend line of getting so used to being alone and just being with yourself that you really like the idea of making new friends and hanging out with them. But the idea of hanging out with them is like, sometimes I would just rather be alone. So I treat it more as like this introversion and this obsession over doing a lot of work, which I do quite frequently. So I definitely agree with the burnout point. I totally see that. Kiki loves doing this thing. That's her passion. I do game design as my job, right? Game design's my passion and is now my job. And if you do it enough, then you don't get tired of it, but it loses the magic that it had. And you start to lose that sense of childhood wonder that you had within your work. And the only way to really connect with it is to take a step back and try and find it again, and try and treat that passion as you once did before it became your work. But it's this really weird balance of, you're growing up and you have to operate more like an adult, and you have these responsibilities, but at the same time you want to stay true to that person that had that dream in the first place to bring you to this point. And I think that Kiki's Delivery Service definitely has something to say in that regard, like maintaining this mix of childhood wonder and adult responsibility at the very end of the movie. There's a very interesting choice that's made, and it's that at one point you cannot, or Kiki stops being able to understand her cat. It is said that the cats, or that she could talk to the cat because of her witch's magic. And when she loses her magic, she loses her ability to talk with the cat. After that happens, even after Kiki is able to fly again, you never hear the cat say anything back to Kiki, or at least I didn't in the English dub.
See, and I just almost leaked a thing I wanted to talk about. The cat has no more lines talking. I was going to bring that up, so thank you.
So to me, what that represents is Kiki is learning to find this balance, and she might have gone to the point of burnout. She might have lost all of that childhood wonder, where now she can no longer talk to her cat, right? Like that passion has dulled in a sense, but she's learning to build it back up slowly but surely by learning how to fly again. And she's incorporating more adult responsibility. So maybe what the loss of understanding the cat means is that she is losing a little bit of her childhood wonder. And she's losing her ability to like have imaginary friends, talk to animals, like that sort of vibe is going on there. And maybe not being able to talk to the cat isn't necessarily a bad or sad ending, but it's just showing her maturing and showing the realities of what you have to do when you mature. That's the way that I read it.
No, I think the that's all very much like textually present for sure. I think that's totally the readings do not contradict each other at all. And I'm so glad you brought up the cat point, because I think, I was thinking a lot about what that means as well in the way that I was watching the movie. And, for me, I sort of read it as like, you don't cure like being depressed, right? Like that's not something that you don't like not have it anymore. It's just like you're like better at managing it, or it's like not as bad.
Yeah.
So I read it as like she has recovered, like she is like out of her funk, but that doesn't mean she's cured, right? So basically the same thing that you were saying, right? Like finding a comfortable contentedness rather than like everything's perfect now. It's like, no, what happened still happened and it was real.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to live with that. That makes it sound more glum than I feel like it is. But that's just because I'm bad at phrasing things tenderly.
I mean, like there's some hope to it, right? Like,
yeah. No, I mean, I don't know that Gigi will ever talk again, but I don't think that matters.
I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, like it's Kiki learning to grow up and to balance her former self with her new self.
Yes, exactly.
But Kasey, what was your interpretation of it?
I definitely, when watching it, what came to me is kind of this idea of knowing your capacity. Like similarly to Charlie, like when it made me definitely think about the transitions in my life. And I definitely relate to Kiki as you do, as being literally like, we're like helpful to like the workaholic like level. And I feel like because she was always like extending, and like even with the scene with the old lady where she's like, oh yeah, no, I totally have time to help you bake this pot pie and deliver this pot pie and make it to this party. Like she was completely overbooking herself, but because she wanted to be helpful and she wanted to like, she has like that sense of just wanting to serve people, but then she ends up like neglecting herself. And so it keeps kind of going and going and going until she does lose her powers. And working back into that funk, like I was like, yeah, no, I completely get that. Because once you like reach the end of your capacity, like you have to reevaluate everything. And going back to like Charlie, you did great connecting it with the childlike whimsy, and I was very, very sad that Gigi like didn't get to talk, and knowing that part was kind of like that not part but like section of her powers, like it's something that like you hope's going to come back but you're not entirely sure. But as you grow up, there are things that it's like, okay, yeah, I am losing it, or I need to just let it go. And or you just simply grow out of it, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, even though it's sad. Like for the audience, like Gigi being like her little pal, her little like sidekick for the entire movie, and then all of a sudden like his presence is just not there anymore. Yeah. And that's so, and I feel like that could also relate to her, not necessarily her connection with home, but like how she was always leaning on Gigi or not leaning on Gigi for guidance. Like that's kind of like a section of like Gigi's an extension of her family, of her parents. And when Gigi like stopped talking, then it was like she's truly just figuring it out on her own, which I think is super sad, but super interesting and super real.
And yeah, I was going to say realistic.
Yeah, very, very realistic, because, like I'm a resident advisor. So you'll have some residents that'll come in and they'll have everybody like mama, dad, like peepaw and grandma, like, like all hands on deck. And then you'll have other residents where it's just them and boxes and they're doing it all by themselves, and taking it back to like having to do that or having to reevaluate your life in a transition at 13, like I moved around a lot. So like I get it. Like having to establish all sorts of relationships, like who am I? What am I keeping from the last place? Like what can I change? Like what is something that I need to adjust with myself? I don't know. I just really all that to say, long-winded, but I understand what you guys are saying and I second it. And it was just very relatable, I guess.
It's very real.
Very
Yeah.
real.
Well,
real, raw.
could I bounce off the cat point real quick?
Bounce it.
Like even Gigi grows up, right? Like Gigi finds a relationship with another cat. And I don't want to read into that a ton, but like even Gigi begins to find his own life away from Kiki. And like more and more people start to leave her and mature and like all go their separate ways. And it's very similar to how you might have a childhood friend who, you know, every single day through like third grade you would sit with in class and then go home with. But later on, you guys just find different paths in life and you sort of go your separate ways. Obviously, Gigi stays with Kiki, but there definitely is a little bit of that going on within that relationship.
It's a lot like me and Charlie. You know, we used to be best friends, and we'd like eat lunch every day. And now, when I
now
see
they
him,
hate each other.
when I see him, I start kicking and yelling.
Yeah,
they actually signed a lease for the podcast, and they're just waiting for it to be up.
I have some more trivia.
More trivia. Okay.
Everyone do the trivia dance. Did you know this is the one that I wasn't sure about, but I have confirmed that in the original Japanese, Gigi is a girl.
Oh,
interesting. I give you lesbian cat.
Lesbian cat.
Real.
True. Oh
Real.
my god.
Lesbian
Studio
cat.
Ghibli based. What?
This is another follow-up. In the pre-Disney acquisition dub of Kiki's Delivery Service, Gigi speaks English at the end. Later in 2010, they cut that in an attempt to become, to be more faithful to the original Japanese. So if you watched this movie before 2010, Gigi does talk at the end, and I think that radically changes the message, like the resolution
really
of the movie. So just interesting. And I think, it's having Gigi speak English at the end or speak human at the end is, it's like a lot of safer of a choice, so it's interesting. It's like, you see why they did it, but it's also kind of disappointing. Stick to authorial intent, follow the vision, right? Don't go for the safe route. Because it is safer, right? Like you do want the wish fulfillment, and everything is amazing. But this is the real world. It's not amazing. No, but I think Gigi's rules. I think Gigi just rules.
Gigi does rule.
I wanted to say that I really like the just sort of structure of this movie. I really like the way that it flows. I like seeing Kiki make all these little connections with people in her town and seeing how they all come back around. And though she cannot seem to see it and cannot seem to allow herself to be a part of it, there's this whole community of people that like love and support her. And she can't see it until the very end. And I think it's really wholesome. And
except for one kid.
Except for loser brat kid.
No means no, child.
Oh, wait, are you talking about Tombo?
Yeah.
Oh, no, hold on. Sorry, we're going to have a problem.
Where's the restraining order? That police officer should have been in there taking that kid to court.
You were talking about the bratty orange hair girl.
Who? No, she did nothing wrong. It was the kid.
She was flaming her grandma's pies. She was like, I hate grandma's
Hey, maybe the pies were bad. I haven't tried the pies.
No, L. Charlie. But
what was the flavor of the pie? It was like cherry herring or something.
Herring and pumpkin.
It's simply, herring and pumpkin. I don't know. Maybe.
Herring and pumpkin sounds despicable. as a combination. I mean, maybe that girl had a point, is all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, if your grandma came to you with a pie that you weren't particularly interested in, you don't
actually pumpkin pie.
Actually, I don't want to know what you would do, Charlie.
James, I want you to say this live on air. Would you eat a herring pumpkin pie if your grandma cooked it for you?
If she like presented it to me, yeah.
You would eat an entire slice.
If she put the plate down in front of me and said, "I made you this."
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Yes. You wouldn't?
An entire slice of herring pumpkin pie. What you do, James, this is the correct choice, is you take a bite, you say, "Oh my God, it's so good," and then you just talk for the rest of the dinner.
Well, sure. Realistically, that's probably what I do. But you're siding with the girl who said, "Go die and fall over, Grandma. This pie's disgusting."
My point is that herring pumpkin pie, maybe she should reevaluate the recipe.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
The flavor profiles are not mixing.
Gordon.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
Rubbish.
As I was going to say, I don't even remember now. He derailed me talking about pie flavors. Unbelievable. Well, I think this, like going back to the burnout reading or the general sadness reading, which I think is what this movie is. I think that's the reading of the movie, is that in some way something is wrong. Not to self-diagnose, but something is wrong. But Kiki, what does the movie present as the cure? It's not like an 11th hour Deus Ex Machina, like I believe in myself. No, it's go take a little vacation, rest, think about why you do what you do, and go do a caring action for another person. Like get out of your own head.
Pour into yourself and others, not just other people.
Well, and not just yourself. Like I think
not just yourself. Find the balance.
Both sides of that, I think, get pushed too much, right? It's like the solution to being clogged up in your own head is step 1, rest a little bit. And step 2, get out of your own head. Like if that is the problem, then step out of yourself and do something for someone else. And at least that's how, that's what I believe. And that's, I think, is what I perceive as being presented in the movie. And I think that's like, real and true. Like the cocktail of giving, of rest and like service. As like rules, guys rule. A1 movie, flawless message.
A1,
zero notes. But I just feel like that's not like it's just so straight up and like real with it. I feel like most movies about like being sad either end with like things worse than they started, right? And like everything falls apart and it's like, like it's just not good. And it's a bad time, or it's like really dumb and cheesy. And it's like, I was kind to myself and now I'm cured. Like, no. Those kinds of things make me very upset. So I love how real Kiki's delivery service is, where it's like, rest, be a good person, and like, like form relationships. And like get a job and like things will get better, like not all at once and not miraculously, but like you will do better. And it's like, I like this. This makes me feel good.
And the reason it's so realistic is because it's made by Hayao Miyazaki, who is this wonderful blend of a human, where he makes these incredibly like fun and whimsical and lighthearted films, but he's also himself like a deeply sarcastic and like sort of depressed person a little bit. Like there's this wonderful documentary out about him that I really do need to watch, but I've seen some clips from it. I've seen footage.
That's just a radical way to start a sentence.
But Hayao Miyazaki is known for like being the opposite of what his movies are. He like smokes in the animation studio and like makes all these dark jokes all the time. And it's funny to see this person so relatively early in his career, like compared to now where he's like this, super veteran, like start talking about these things. Cause I think it also probably speaks to the churn rate of the animation industry and how hard these people are working all the time because their job is so strenuous and they're working, like crazy hours per week to get these effects done. Like this is probably the moment. This movie is him going to the cabin with the painter lady. Like, it is him taking a step back and meditating on all of the stuff that he's been doing and finding that passion again inside of his own work.
I see where you're going.
Only a person that has been through these sorts of things can understand this concept so well as to make a movie that encapsulates it in the way that James was describing.
Right, what you know.
Or
right
exactly.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know another thing about this movie?
What?
It fits into my theory that every Studio Ghibli movie is a fantastic video game waiting to happen. Are you telling me that you would not want to play as Kiki going on cute little fetch quests or cute little delivery quests, I guess, where you have to deliver bread to people across a beautiful town that you can fly through? Is that not the most wonderful sounding video game of all time?
It sounds almost as wonderful as being Prince Ashitaka riding around on my cool horse monster.
Right.
Oh my God.
Decapitating warriors with my venom arm arrows shooting ability.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm frothing. I'm gnashing my teeth. Okay, wait. So I heard that some haters in here have problems with Tombo. Is he annoying in the beginning? Yes, but okay, go ahead.
So I personally don't have any problem with Tombo, but I watched this movie with two other people, and one of them was convinced that Tombo was going to have like a major villain arc halfway through.
Villain arc?
Okay,
Tombo was going to turn and be bad, and I just have to voice that concern because I'm sure that other people have felt it.
I think that, you know, the expectation, like, it makes me sad to hear that, because that shows what people's, you know, expectations are for the average man in the year of our Lord 2022. Do better.
Oh my God.
That's right.
No, you guys just completely took what I was trying to say and read it as the opposite, you fools. What? I'm saying hold on, let me make sure I'm not like acting like a homo sapien.
A homo sapien.
What I'm saying,
a troglodyte, like, if you will.
If someone would assume that like this guy's Tombo's gonna have like an incel arc, that to me is like sad. That to me is like sad because it's like, oh man, it sucks that like that's the way things are. Like that's a reasonable expectation to have, you know? Like
I think it's two things. I think it's that this movie, for a large portion of it, is shockingly devoid of any real conflict. Like, the first part of the movie is just things go pretty well.
I don't know if I agree, but
like not until she loses her powers and she goes on that stupid pumpkin herring mission does it get like a little intense. But I like the first part of it. That's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's bad.
But I do think there is.
What's the conflict? Like,
I think the conflict is her setting up her business. I think that's I think that is conflict. Conflict doesn't have to be.
Her being broke was a conflict.
Her being broke, her trying to get clients, her trying to deliver the.
She succeeds pretty well though. Like it's a pretty upward arc. Like it's not like there's this overhanging evil to it.
The thing about conflict is one of the options is that you succeed in overcoming it. Like you can overcome stuff and it's still a conflict.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like this major impediment to her. Like she gets through things in the first part of the movie fairly easily.
Okay.
And
I think support system.
Yeah, like compared to the way that many popular movies do it nowadays, where a conflict is set up very, very early and the protagonist has to deal with like very serious ramifications of it all the way throughout. Like this movie hangs on to its happy phase a lot longer. And like actually, the description on HBO Max spoils this entire movie because for an hour of it, it is not what the description says on HBO Max, which is, I mean, you're already here, so I guess I don't need to have a spoiler alert, but it says that she loses her powers, which is like a major twist inside of the movie that doesn't happen for a very large portion of it. So that's hanging over you if you've read the description, and suddenly you like know that all of this happy stuff is going to come to an end with no indication within the movie that that's going to be the case. So screw the HBO Max description, but all this to say that Tombo, or whatever his name is, she kept saying, "Get away from me," and he kept coming back. It's not entirely unreasonable to think that that would have like turned into something bad.
Yeah, no. I understand. Like, and I agree that that's a reasonable thing to expect. But I think like that is how it makes. That's a reasonable thing to think now. Like, yeah, absolutely, of course. But I also think that, like, I don't know. I think Tombo serves an interesting role where he's this person who's consistently like trying to form a connection with Kiki, and like okay, yeah, she is like, she does not want anything to do with him at first, but like I would say reasonably soon she like shows interest in this kid. She's not like hostile to him after like 2 interactions or something. She is like, she wants to go to the party with him, and she like wants to be his friend and hang out with him, but like there's this like weird there's the funk. And what's the funk? It's depression.
What's the funk?
And so I think their relationship is interesting because it's like this person who earnestly just like thinks that Kiki is the coolest and thinks she deserves the world. And then there's this person who like is having a really hard time reciprocating that. Like the scene where she decides not to go to the party ruins me. That scene just kills me inside because it's like, oh, let yourself be happy.
Well, I wouldn't have gone to the party. I saw that as a victory for her.
No, I was like, allow yourself.
I was like, no, she's tired.
No,
she's like wet from the rain.
Like would the party have taken away from her, or would it have rejuvenated
to me,
her?
I need some me time.
No.
Listen, to me, the film was very clearly saying she wants to go to this party, but she's not, like, for no real good reason, she's not letting herself go.
Kiki
like
ambivert hours.
I don't think this movie was presenting it as, oh, she's so tuckered out after a long day's work. She's gonna no. It was like sad, and she was like, she looked like horribly sorrowful.
Kiki is me, and I love a movie night in.
This is the problem of the protagonist and the fact that we imprint onto them. Because I watch it and I go, she just like me for real. This is horribly sad. And then Charlie watches it and goes, she just like me for real. What a fun night in. This is the problem.
I'm gonna get my robe. I'm gonna get some
Oh my God, you're describing such a good day. This is incredible.
But see, that sounds lovely. But if there was a party I was excited about, I know very well the feeling of self-sabotage. I
screw parties though.
Overrated. I smell it in the water.
So overrated.
Yeah, but you like I think you're forgetting that she wanted to go. Like that, like this was a whole big setup.
Yeah, she did the right thing.
Okay. All right. Hater loser.
No, look, if I was writing a paper on this and getting graded on the paper, yes, she wanted to go. But she just like me for real, and she just wanted to watch some Game of Thrones.
You got a point, but
Game of Thrones, I don't know, is that a fun night in?
Yes. What? Oh my God,
James.
Game of Thrones would make me upset.
Guys, House of the Dragon is awesome, and it's very similar to Kiki's Delivery Service.
When Arya Snark met Sir Florkelnork at Castle Thronghorn, I lost it, and then Hodor said, "Hey, everybody, I'm Hodor."
Hodor, correct, and nothing else.
And then Jon Snow came out and said, "Hey guys, I'm Jon Snow."
Look, a guy who just worked at a Smash Bros event. I don't know why you're acting all cool here.
No, like James acts like he had, like Game of Thrones had any chance of him liking it. You're telling me that gratuitous violence and sex.
Violence is not a problem. It was over from the start. I was never gonna. Yeah. I need to watch Better Saul Paul first.
Better Saul.
I need to watch Ball Call for All.
Okay.
My favorite show.
Word names.
Yeah.
Word games. That's what I meant.
Did you ever watch the show Word Girl growing up?
Word Girl. No. Yes, I did.
Wait, no, Charlie, were you not a PBS kid?
That sounds sacrilegious to me.
You're agnostic.
Okay, it's time to. You got him there. You did, and yeah.
Wait, so did you? Let me guess, Charlie. You never watched Martha Speaks?
I did watch Martha Speaks because
how in the world did you watch Martha Speaks and not Word Girl?
I trust golden retrievers.
Literate? Are you kidding?
She's a lab.
She's a lab. She's not even.
Oh, this guy doesn't.
Don't make me flame you.
It's a yellow
Don't make me
dog.
do it.
It's like
She's
close
obviously not a golden retriever.
It'd be better if she was, actually. Hold on, wait.
But that's not
Did
the
you guys
truth.
hear about this incredible plan that Hollywood has for Ferris Bueller? They're making a spin-off movie of the valet drivers that take the car during the middle of the day.
What?
Yeah. And I'm going to do
why?
it for Martha Speaks, but with a golden retriever, and I'm going to improve.
That just lives in the universe.
That's how much money
Martha's
I'm gonna
neighbor. Why are they making that? The Ferris Bueller thing. Why? What's the demand?
Well, because similar to Kiki's delivery service, it's actually going to be about somebody's depression and finally letting themselves have fun in life and break all the rules.
Say things to me and it blows me up and deals 1 million psychic damage to my health. I'm taking poison tick damage right now.
Poison tick damage.
I'm losing 3 HP per second.
Oh, I love you too, James.
You know what? I can't handle this. I need to go get on a bus with my artist friend.
Yeah.
I need to get out. I gotta get out
to the spiel zone.
Are you gonna deliver us? We haven't done. Remember when we did Prince of Egypt?
We need to do another musical where we just randomly start singing throughout the podcast.
What about? I just remembered some Socratic lore. I've learned to slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
No, how was that? That was like a couple months ago.
But look, it never came out.
Oh,
you're right.
That episode did never come out.
About that.
Wait, why did that episode not come out?
Because we
I forgot. We did something else, right?
It ran into the anniversary, and yeah, it was like a sketch.
How would I ever be able to view?
It was death by schedule. Yeah, drop a comment and subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/Socratic Cinema if you want to see the forgotten episode of Socratic Cinema lost to time. Dear Evan Hansen, it's real.
You really made me watch that movie, and we didn't even release it.
I did. Someone on this podcast liked it. Someone was like, "It's not that
fun
bad.
Time. It's not that bad."
Shut up. All right, whatever.
Okay.
I mean,
I like Kiki's delivery service. Dear Evan Hansen.
I guess we've done enough here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think our work here is done.
I think we've delivered.
Hey, so Kasey, I just wanted to have an off-air convo about it's egregious some of the jokes you're making. I mean,
I get it. I understand.
If you actually look at our viewer retention, when you made that joke, we went from 0% to 1%. It actually increased it, but that is contrary to what we would have wanted.
Oh, I mean,
never mind. You know what? You can stay on.
I was about to see myself out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So basically, it was like another episode of the Socratic Cinema podcast, I guess. And they're telling me that you can like and subscribe on YouTube or comment or something. I don't really know. But you can also we have like these social medias. There's a Twitter and an Instagram. I think the Twitter is at Cinema Socratic and the Instagram is like it's like Socratic _ I think it's Socratic _ Cinema. I'm pretty sure. And they also told me to ask you to become a patron for, I think it's like $1 a month at least.
Yeah, at least.
Mm-hmm.
At most, it's not much more. But patreon.com/Socratic Cinema. And you can do that. Yep. Yep. And tune in to Good Morning News. That's all I have to say about that.
Plug.
Yeah, thanks for watching. I love you. Goodbye. Adios.
Adios. What?
I'll give you a wet one.
Oh, what?
Oh, God, he's just like Tombo. He's just like Tombo.
He's just like Tom Brady kissing his kids on the lips. Did you hear about that?